All right. Here we go again. Doc Ock at noon and 9 coming to you today. Hoping everybody feeling really fine after a weekend that I hope was not a bleak end. We're here to continue the saga and the proverb for the days. We just go ahead and jump right in. Is very simply, it's an African American proverb. It goes, "A man ain't nothing but a man." And that comes from right out of John Henry, because John Henry was a little baby. It goes. Check out our previous broadcast, our previous live stream. John Henry, no, the John Legend you never knew. The John Legend you never knew. Check that one out. That's the only one we've done so far. We turned into a full production, more or less. But we hope to have time to do some more of that in the future. But right now, we're just doing it raw, straight ahead, dread, knocking them out left and right. And the poem for today is, let's see what we got, coming out of the book by Henry Dumas. Now, all week long, people have, well, for the last few weeks, actually, people have been dealing with the tragic murder of George Floyd. And today, it appears as though today will be the last day that people will be in having a memorial service for him. So it started like last week, Thursday. They had one in Minneapolis. They had one in North Carolina. Then they went to Houston. So they're still in Houston, but they're still viewing that body. We'll post a song up later about that Bob Marley wrote. He had a song about people and that had to do with death. But you wouldn't know it from the way it sounds. The song is called Mr. Brown. But this one is about the needs of a natural man. And it was written for Jay Wright. That's Wright. My old man took me to the Fulton Fish Market. We walk around in the guts and the scales. My old man showed me a dead fish, eyes like throat spit. He said, "You hungry, boy?" I said, "Nah, not yet." My old man showed me how to pick the leavings. He said, "People throw away fish that ain't rotten." We scaling on our knees back uptown on Lenox. Sold 5 fish, keeping 1 for the pot. My old man copped a bottle of wine. He said, "Boy, build me a fire out in the lot." Backyard cat climbing up my leg for fish. I make a fire in the ash can. My old man come when he smelled that fish. Frank Williams is with him. They got wine. My old man say, "The boy caught the big one." He tell big lie and slap me on the head. You know what I mean. I give the guts to the cat and take some wine. We walk around the sparks like we in hell. My old man is laughing and coughing up wine. He say, "You hungry, boy?" I said, "Nah, not yet." Next time I go to Fulton Fish Market, first thing I do is take a long drink of wine. Next time I go. That's Henry Dumas. Vintage Henry Dumas. Excuse me, Henry Dumas. Let me say it in the appropriate French pronunciation. Henry Dumas. That's Dumas. S is silent. All the consonants on the end of French words are silent. Just in case you didn't know. When you see them, you'll be able to say them a little better. All right. So the story we're reading today is another story in the series from My Life in the Bush of Ghosts. And I think we'll have just enough time to read this whole chapter. We're getting close to the end of the book. And I can't wait to get to the end because it's got a good ending. I won't tell you any more than that because I'm not going to spoil the surprise. Sun divides us. Sun divides us. That's Sun, S-O-N. When I completed the period of a year with her, this is his second ghost wife, then she conceived. Okay, sorry. You mean to tell me he had a baby with a ghost wife? Well, now that's interesting. And some months later, she delivered a male baby who resembled me with half of his body, and the rest his body resembled his mama. The naming ceremony of this baby was performed after the third day. He was born according to the ghost's custom. All the prominent ghosts and ghostesses came in large numbers for this grand ceremony. They gave him the ghost's name, which I could not write or pronounce. Of course, I myself gave him an earthly name, which is Okele Bamidele. The meaning is, you cannot follow me to my home. I gave him this name according to his nature, which is half ghostess and half earthly person. Within 6 months that he was born, he had grown up to the height of 4 feet and some inches. He could do everything in the house, but the worst part of it is that whenever I talked to him to do something, he would do it in the half method that the ghosts are doing all their things, and then in the half method that the earthly persons are doing everything. So I hated him for this habit because I wanted him to do everything completely in the method that the earthly persons are doing everything. And also his mother hated him for the half method that he was doing everything, because she wanted him to do everything in the full way that ghosts are doing their own things. She wanted him to be acting as a full ghost as herself, and I myself wanted him to be acting as a full earthly person as I am. So by this reason, the love which was between ourselves was vanishing away gradually until when I completed the period of 4 years with her. One night I was joking with her that earthly people are superior to the ghosts and ghostesses or all other creatures. But when she heard this from me, she was extremely annoyed. Without asking me the reason about what I said, she simply went to an unknown place that she kept the animal skin which was on my body when she met me, as she had taken it from me and hid it in an unknown place at the time. I followed her from the bush to her house on the day she met me in the bush. So she brought it. Okay, excuse me one moment here. Let me just hit this button real quick. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to back this up. One night I was joking with her that earthly people are superior to the ghosts and ghostesses or all other creatures. But when she heard this from me, she was extremely annoyed. Without asking me the reason about what I said, she simply went to an unknown place that she kept the animal skin, which was on my body when she met me. But as she had taken it from me and hid it in an unknown place, at the time I followed her from the bush to her house on the day she met me in the bush, so she brought it and took away all the clothes that she gave me from my body, and then gave me my animal skin to wear. But when I saw her rude attitude, I was greatly annoyed as well. Then I took it from her and wore it as before I met her. After that, she drove me away from that town, which means I come back to my former condition. So I left there at 2 o'clock in the midnight to an unknown place, because I did not know any part of that area or to hear any news about any town which is near there to go direct and shelter myself throughout that night from any dangerous ghost or creature. Having left her and traveled in the bush to a short distance, then I remembered to continue to be looking for the way to my hometown, as I had forgotten that for a while because of love. So this is how I left the super lady who was my wife because of our son. After the 5th month that I had left her and roamed about in the bush both day and night, and nobody could identify me again that I am not a ghost, because I was then nearly become a full ghost and was doing everything that ghosts are doing, and also speaking the language of ghosts fluently, as if I was born in the bush of ghosts. So through this language that I could speak and understand, I was always protected from uncountable merciless ghosts, as it was hard for some of them to believe that I am an earthly person. One night at about 11 o'clock there, I entered a town unnoticed. all the inhabitants of this town had slept very early because it was in the rainy season. Again, it was raining from morning of that day till the evening, as this is always happening in the Bush of Ghosts. But when I went as far as to the center of this town, perhaps I might discover the fire in which to roast a very small, what? Can't read that. A very small something. Boy, I can't read that word. A very small animal, which a ghost gave me after he slapped my ear warmly 10 times before giving it to me. Oh, there it is. To roast a very small yam, which a ghost gave me after he slapped my ear warmly 10 times before giving it to me, because yams were very scarce. Dang, why does this thing keep doing this? Because yams are, okay, I'm gonna back it up again. Because yams were very scarce to get in some parts of the Bush of Ghosts. Having given me this yam, he mounted me and rode me for about 3 days and nights before he released me. So as I was roaming up and down in this town to get the fire, I was easily arrested as a burglar, because many of their houses had been burgled a week previously before I entered there. So the guard ghost who arrested me thought that I was one of the burglars or coming to burgle another house again. And furthermore, when they saw the small yam, which I wanted to roast in the fire, some of them held me tightly. For the rest, who were beating me repeatedly with clubs in respect to this yam alone. After that, they took me to their guard room to keep me safely till the morning before they would put the case in the court. I was very surprised to see that I was totally covered by mosquitoes in the guard room so that nobody could see many parts of my body. And it was in this town I saw that mosquitoes are worshipped, kept or tamed, and regarded as their god. They are respecting them as their doctors, and none of them could live in any town where there are no mosquitoes, as they are recognizing them, purifying their blood to the good state. There, I noticed as well that they have several special shrines in which they are worshiping them, and scheduled the term of festival 2 times in a year. But if they discovered in any year that mosquitoes are less than previous years, it will be bad luck for them. And at once they would make a special sacrifice in these shrines to increase mosquitoes in abundance so that they would fill everywhere in the town. So it was not yet 8 o'clock in the morning before I was taken to the court, which was specially arranged for my case. And the judge did not ask me any question before he judged it, and then sentenced me to 16 years imprisonment with hard labor. Then I was taken to their prison yard, in which all kinds of severe punishments are always awaiting offenders. Immediately, I was taken there and handed to one of the chief warders who are in charge of the yard. Then 2 junior warders were preparing fire inside a big oven in which I would spend the sentence passed on me. I would be entering inside this oven from 5 o'clock every morning and coming out at 7 o'clock every evening until the term would be expired. But as it was hard labor, so instead of resting for some time till I would enter it again at 5 o'clock in the morning, I would be collecting charcoal into this oven again, with which to make another fire. So by that, I would have no rest for a minute until the term would be expired. I was very surprised that all ghosts are thinking that earthly persons could not die as they themselves could not die, because to imprison themselves and other creatures in the fire are very common in the Bush of Ghosts. Well, we didn't quite finish that. We had a number of interruptions on camera number 2 going out to the Facebook. So that was a bit of an issue, but we did our best to overcome it. Hopefully you didn't miss any parts of the story. Meanwhile, moving along, right along here, we are going to close out this session. We'll come back tomorrow with part 2 of Sun Divides Us, from My Life in the Bush of Ghosts by Amos Tutuola. And I don't know if I'm saying it right yet. I'm still working on it. Just give me a little time. I'll get there eventually. Meanwhile, make sure to subscribe by pressing the button below, so you'll be notified when we come on air the next time, when we live for our next live stream, which will be at 9 o'clock this evening. And if you're looking at us on Facebook, make sure to give us a like and a share. Show everybody that you care. Don't just sit there starting to stare. Do your thing while we get on up from here and head on out to the garden, because we got some things to do in the garden. Working the garden is hard, but the reward is plentiful. Well, the reward will be plentiful, because we're growing collards, kale, we're growing squash, we're growing all kinds of good stuff, and getting ready to plant some more things right about now. So hopefully you got your garden growing too, because we're going to need a garden come this fall. Yeah, if things go the way they're predicting, we're all going to need to be able to have another source of food other than the local stove. Okay? You're not going to be able to depend on the stove no more. So just keep that in mind. Just take that as a bit of advice from Doc Ock. All right. Peace out. Without a doubt. We'll see you a little bit later, and hopefully you'll be straighter.